Hello, and welcome back to another segment of Border Crossings on the Voice of America. I'm Meredith Bach, and today we'll be looking into an interview held at the coveted music festival, Lollapalooza. Artists from around the world gather in downtown Chicago for 4 days of performance, live music, and massive crowds. Today's guest did just that. Isabel La Rosa's performance lit up the stage on the first night and drew the audience in with the same energy, emotion, and angst that fuels her electric pop music. At only 18 years old, this was La Rosa's first time performing at Lollapalooza. Here's what she had to say about it.
It was amazing. It was genuinely so much better than I expected it to go, to be honest. It was such a cool experience, and it exceeded my expectations by a lot. So I'm just happy to be here. They were really in it, which was really fun. So they jumped with me. That was fun.
In the past, critics and fans have claimed that La Rosa writes darker music that sounds like a movie and is filled with suburban angst.
I think that suburban angst is a really good title description for it. I think that we always talk about it, but I feel like I heard that phrase and I was like, that's it. That's what it feels like. Well, I grew up in the suburbs. Both Thomas and I have had a lot of experiences, emotional experiences that we write about, and I just feel like it captures the feeling of growing up in that environment, and the feeling of having the pivotal emotional experiences for the first time, and how you deal with that as you're learning how to just deal with everything. I feel like it's just the music is a lot of firsts almost. It describes a lot of firsts and just all the emotion that comes with it.
La Rosa mentions her brother Thomas, who creates all the music with her.
He's my producer, and we write everything together. I mean, we've performed together since we were kids, so I've never not performed with him, so it only feels right when it's us two. But he's amazing, and he's the best guitarist and just the best brother and supporter.
The two formed their sibling duo back in elementary school, while growing up around Annapolis, Maryland. La Rosa explains that her upbringing was surrounded with music, as her brother played the guitar and her dad played the saxophone. La Rosa's dad would even take her to local jazz clubs, where she would perform when she was only 7 years old. Though much younger than most of the crowd there, La Rosa explains that it was here where she found community in music.
One thing I really do remember is just the community aspect of it, and how supportive and kind everybody was, and if I ever messed anything up, it wasn't they weren't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a harsh critic of people. It was a really cool environment to be in, and a very kind environment, and I do really remember that. Looking back on it, I'm so grateful for those experiences, and I'm really glad that I have that performance experience and just that sense of community from a young age. It's really, really important.
Since then, La Rosa has performed around the world. Beginning in February of this year, Isabel went on an international tour with American singer Nessa Barrett, reaching audiences in the UK, Ireland, and the US. Her fame kicked off with the hit single I'm Yours, which went viral on TikTok in 2022. Afterwards, La Rosa wrote and directed an entire video for the song, as well as put out an EP and a hit new single.
I have so many things I want to do, just as I continue on with my career, that I have full treatments written in my notes. I'm ready to make them whenever the right thing happens. But so that's definitely gonna happen.
And she doesn't plan on slowing down anytime soon.
I mean, I want to have a number one song. That's always been something that I've wanted to have. But I think that that's obviously something that I want, but I really want to sell out a headline tour. That's something that's really important to me. So both of those things are, there's definitely a lot of stuff coming up that I'm really, really excited about. So I'm very excited to just continue playing shows and keep going.
Isabel notes that such a fast pace isn't so easy though, and the newfound fame can be dizzying.
It's just crazy to see everything happening in real time. I don't know, I feel like I'm just not fully aware of what's happening, and it's really, really crazy to me when just anybody says that they listen to anything. It means everything to me. I'm still kind of trying to process and just kind of keep my head down and keep moving. I think that's the most important thing.
All this recent success has also taught Isabel to slow down and not take anything for granted.
I think that something that's easy to forget when you have some kind of success or anything, or just it feels like you're always going to have it. I just see people who like internalize it so much and they're like, well, nothing can go wrong, like, and then they stop working, and then that's when not good things happen. So I just try to keep that in mind, but I just try to really appreciate anything that happens.
Again, that was 18-year-old Isabel LaRosa. Catch her on Instagram at isabel.s.larosa, and of course, you can find her music on all the usual platforms under her name. This has been Meredith Bach on Border Crossings. Here is Isabel LaRosa's latest single, Eyes Don't Lie.
Eyes don't lie.
Hello, this is Meredith Bach with Border Crossings on the Voice of America. Today we are kicking off the hour with an exciting new show from Chicago. Today's interview was held in the exclusive backstage grounds of Lollapalooza, a coveted 4-day music festival featuring global headliners and varying artists from around the world. Voice of America sat down with some of these big names to discuss their work so that we could bring the news to Border Crossings today. I got to chat with American DJ and music producer Thaddeus Labazuski, better known as his artist name Disco Lines, who kicked off the first day with an energetic house music set. Under a sweltering midday sun, the DJ and the crowd really put a beat to the heat.
That crush so hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that whole crowd, all those kids were fired up. It's the first day of Lolla, everyone's dancing. And it's not even like hype tech house, it's very like, it's like fun dance house music, which I love. Yeah. Good summer vibes, but kids are jumping up and down, and it's like rare you see that. So, I mean, I could just be one and just say like, oh, it's good music, but like low-key, the crowd was phenomenal.
The performance at Lolla was an electrifying start to a busy tour season for Disco Lines, who just released his Good Good Tour that spans across the U.S. from October to January. The tour takes the same title as the 23-year-old's independent record label, Good Good Records, and his monthly mix show on SiriusXM BPM, Good Good Radio. As both projects launched just this year, one can only wonder how the young musician juggles it all.
Yeah, I get well around all the time. I run this whole team of people. Tell them what to do creatively. Yeah, just like taking yourself out. What else helps is like skiing too. Your mind's totally out of the picture, all this stuff.
When talking about balance and discipline, Disco Lines refers to skiing and surfing a lot, activities for which he holds a deep passion. He explains it was during these hobbies that he garnered a mindset and motive for music.
I don't know, I've realized in life, like it all started with skiing, right? I remember the first time I hit it at 180, like a very rudimentary trick. Yeah. But I didn't know how to do it prior. And I was like, holy fuck, I just taught myself something that I never thought I could do. I'm not very athletic, I'm not skillful. You take that and apply it to anything in life, music too. I wasn't good at music, learned it a bunch, did my 10,000 hours. If I take that and do anything else in life, like could run a marketing job, could run a yoga, like, I don't know. The world's your oyster, right?
And as if skiing 180s and learning music weren't already enough, Disco Lines actually does have plans in mind for that yoga dream too. After several bouts with some serious concussions, touring can give the DJ headaches and mental stress. His remedy is simple and sweet: yoga.
It's good for the mind. Stretching, underrated. Yeah, I mean, I'll stretch in the morning, I'll breathe. It's good to breathe before something, right? We always neglect that. But if you just think about 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, it's super easy. But I do that when I'm like feeling anxious. Or the breathing therapy stuff's crazy because I've never thought about how to breathe, but once you think about it, it's like very beautiful, calming yourself down like that.
Breathing and calmness before the music and rage. Disco Lines sure knows how to dabble in different areas of life. In fact, the techno and house artist has another side to him apart from the festivals and fame: software engineering. Music has always been in his life. Disco Lines grew up playing piano and guitar and frequenting electric dance concerts. But when he entered college at the University of Colorado Boulder, he studied in the College of Engineering and Applied Science. It's a little known fact.
I'm a nerd at heart. Super nerdy kid.
With his differing interests in open source software, technology, and music, Disco Lines activates both his creative and analytical spheres of the brain, which means his work as a musician melds the two interests together.
I think inherently music production uses a bunch of computer stuff to do it, so yeah, just like producing music. It's all derived from software engineering because you're looking at a computer, you're trying to time out time, it's complicated. They go hand in hand, yeah.
When asked if he ever considered using his talents with computers to develop music software, Disco Lines jumped into brainstorming mode.
I think right now what's hot, right, because everyone wants to make music, and we're going to come to a time in 5 years, I think when you go on Spotify, instead of listening to a song, you'll be able to film your artist and they'll make a new song for you. And I like making money, so I think there's a place for a new plugin that'll just make music for you, and it's simple, like a ChatGPT for music, right?
Right.
I mean, something like that already exists, where you could be like, I want this cool tech house drum loop, very gritty, derived off like a Dom Dollar like house track, and it'll make it for you beautifully. So I think I want to do that. I want to make a plugin to be used in like music production.
But for now, Thaddeus Labaszewski sticks to making his own music, which, according to his fans, seems to be working out pretty well for him. Disco Lines now has over 4.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify and a rapidly growing global presence in the music world. His top record, titled Baby Girl, has over 125 million streams right now. Make sure to join the crowd by following him on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Music at Disco Lines. This has been Meredith Bach, and you're listening to Border Crossings with the hit single Baby Girl by Disco Lines.